Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man again, coming to you from parts unknown. I tune in and then I get tuned out, but hopefully this broadcast will get by while people are getting the chats. I'm going to play a video of a little ceremony that happened in a South American country we're all familiar with.
Serão prestadas honras militares ao senhor Ministro de Estado da Defesa, José Múcio Monteiro Filho.
And there you just saw the Brazilian military saluting the new El Presidente. So anyway, while we got people coming into the chats, I'll go over a few things and I can play that little ceremony later on. So let's see who all's here. Hi, Wanda. Hi, B-Dog. Quilt. Donna Neff, how you doing? Bubba, how you doing, Bubba? Sharon. Brett. Circle spinning. Okay. Have you all got a 5x5 or is it a bad signal? Because of the bad signal, I'll just give you all the nuts and bolts of what's going on and wait for a better day. We got 5x5. Okay. This is what's going around some of the frustrated people of the country in Brazil. Okay, I get good. I see more 5x5s. Good. They are very frustrated, but they still hold out hope. And I'm going to go over some things that happened today and were reported today that are very interesting. But as you can see, this kind of a meme going around. I am not a hero. I am a paid enforcer for corrupt politicians. I have no legal duty to protect the citizens I serve. I will enforce any law, no matter how ridiculous it is. I'm a member of the standing army the founders warned you about. How you doing? Happy days. So you can see that is a frustration that's going around among the people. And one of the things that was reported, I talked about last night, was this character there he is, Lula. He was in prison for money laundering, and he was let out at the behest of the same Supreme Court that is enforcing all of his so-called dictates. We'll see. But anyway, far left Lula da Silva, sworn in as president of Brazil, in the lead up, the court banned guns in the country's capital and suspended registered gun owners' licenses. That's right, Karen. I got booted off, but I'm back. So anyway, that is one of the first things that happened. There's more that happened today, and I will show you some stuff that I got. But one person put out this stock market report, and this is Brazil, and they laughingly said it was done in honor of an L for Lula. Anyway, big loss there. As you can see, a one-day activity on the stock market. I can't. Ibovespa. So, anyway, I see we still got some things coming in that I'm buffering, and I'm really not wanting to do a choppy live stream. So I'll just get over to the quick points and we'll call it a day on this live stream. What the people are, they were hanging their hats on something happening with the military. Now the talk is that a general strike may be their only answer. And this is what's been going around, as you can see with this flag of Brazil. And basically what it says, oh, okay, we got 5x5s, good. Donna F says she's not buffered. Okay. Well, sometimes, folks, you got to check your device. If you've got some having trouble coming in, it might not be me. And I can't stop the broadcast or worry about holding my mouth a certain way or standing on one leg for the thing coming clear. So give it a little time to zero in on your device. Because I lose my train of thought and I got a lot of things in my studio I'm trying to go through. If it's real choppy, I just forget about it. So, but anyway, what this thing says is basically shut your businesses down now because they're going to get shut down later. So that is because people are saying, well, we still got to pay the bills. We can't go on strike. And some people that were with the protests are now being fatalistic and saying they just got to go with the flow. And people are saying, no, we have to stand up and go on a general strike. Now, what has gotten people to this point? The signs of hopefulness. On my thumbnail, I've got the humiliations. Like I said, we went through it. We went through it 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. This is a freeze frame of this individual walking past on a ceremony for his inauguration, and he is purposely went by the military generals with his back towards them, did not acknowledge them at all. And that really deflated a lot of people who were hoping for the best. And in the corner there, you can see how we have to sit there and watch billions and billions of our dollars going over. And you see Zelensky and Biden. I put that up there for a reason. They tried to impeach Trump over a phone call with the fellow on the left. Okay. And they arrested General Flynn on a cooked up charge by the fellow on the right, who's the one that came up with the foreign influence charges against General Flynn that disrupted Mr. T's administration from day one. But I tell you what, I'm not going to start off totally down in the mouth. I want to show you a TikTok video. And if any of y'all know Espanol or you may want to record this if you have someone that does know. And I'll tell you what it says. This is a very brief TikTok video of when Bolsonaro was in Orlando. You remember night before last, we were discussing that he stayed at a famous boxer's house in Orlando, and we were hoping to get a sight of him. Well, he came out to greet the crowd, and I'll play the video real quick. Maybe some of y'all can understand a little bit of it, and I'll tell you the context. It was a little hard to hear, but what he said translated into English. Just before you hear the woman kind of squeak, make a little noise of joy, he said, "The best is yet to come." So I didn't know if you all had heard that, but But I'll just play the video again. Did it play clear? I mean, at least where you could hear it. I turned the volume up as much as I could on it. So the people are very excited about that, and I'm starting to see now the rationale of him not being a prominent figure at Trump's gala for the New Year's. He came to Florida, and he stayed at a very prominent Brazilian's home as a guest, a boxer that a lot of the people know, and it doesn't give any appearance of where he is colluding with anybody, because believe me, if they could get him on something, they would. And I don't look for him to go back until it's safe to go back. And we'll discuss that some more. But the people are feeling abandoned. Some of them are feeling abandoned. And this here is a decree. If y'all want to get a screenshot of this, maybe find someone who can translate, but you have to kind of trust me on this. That's the clearest I could get it. It's off a Telegram post. This is one of the first decrees that Lula signed, and guess what it's for? It's for a ministry of truth. And I think it's dawning on some people who are doing TikTok videos, who are doing messaging, that they're starting to realize how much danger they're in. I mean, it's gotten from, oh gosh, I'm afraid I'm going to get censored, to, oh gosh, I'm afraid I'm going to have my bank account closed. Oh gosh, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job, to, oh gosh, I think I'm going to get arrested. Because that's basically what this is. This ministry of truth they've set up. Now, I'm going to put on the screen well, let me go over this article very quickly that I've talked about in the past. And then I'm going to put on the screen some paperwork that's being submitted to the military court. Let me see. This article, a lot of people, this is from the Gateway Pundit, but this has been going around. Bolsonaro signed an order, as you see, Gateway Pundit, to elevate the Superior Military Court, STM, over the corrupt left-wing Supreme Court in a move that many believe may pave the way for military intervention before January 1st, when corrupt communist convict Lula da Silva is scheduled to take office as president. In the last 72 hours, there has been much chatter and speculation on social media about Jair Bolsonaro having already placed Brazil under the armed forces tutelage. And that's a report from the Rio Times. It is also rumored that country's Superior Military Court has already responded positively to the complaints against the controversial Supreme Court. Now, let me see if I've got these articles in order. It's kind of hard to see them in the studio till I pull them up. The official Gazette of Brazil published a ruling that the Ministry of Defense is approved to be the agency that interprets the Constitution. This means the Ministry of Defense will officially exercise the function of interpreting the Constitution. This privilege usually belongs to the Supreme Court. The new ruling harbors explosive force in light of the showdown between Bolsonaro and the Brazilian Supreme Court in the decisive battle for power. Okay? Now, you can bet everybody's reading this with bated breath. Bolsonaro is playing chess. Brazilian conservative leader, I can't say that name, but told the Gateway Pundit. Our Supreme Court changed the Constitution so the left wing can take power. Justice Barroso changed the interpretation of Article 142. I discussed that last night, which authorizes the armed forces under the command of the president to perform a military intervention. But now Bolsonaro has turned over the interpretation of the Constitution to the Ministry of Defense. I said Secretary of Defense. It is a clear sign that Bolsonaro will act. If he would be handing over to Nine Fingers, Lula, that's what they call him. I guess he got a finger cut off somewhere. Why would he do that? If he's going to hand over power, why would he do that? Bolsonaro has always insisted he would act within the law in the Constitution. Now, let me see. This gets a little mixed up, but this is a sequence of chess moves. On December 19th, all Congress members were officially certified, meaning they have the right to assume their seats in Parliament. Okay, let me see if I got these in order. A large number of conservatives were elected. One of the indicators that Lula's victory was FAR and the rest is FRA and the rest is UD. All right. Bolsonaro signed a decree handing over responsibility to interpret the Constitution to the Minister of Defense, sidelining the leftist Supreme Court. As of yesterday, the Parliament is on holiday, but the Supreme Court judges are so worried they did not take the break. I don't know if you all remember that. They didn't take a break for New Year's or Christmas or nothing. A spy was uncovered within the Bolsonaro staff who was giving information to Chief Justice Alexander de Moraes. Now, we'll hear his name again in upcoming things I'm going to show you. Moraes is now blind and very worried. He should be, because if the president gives the order now, Moraes will go to jail. If Bolsonaro would have acted before certification on December 19th, perhaps the elected representatives would not have supported him, she noted. But now they have the right to take their seats. Reportedly, Bolsonaro has issued a decree authorizing federal forces to act against cartel gangs in Rio de Janeiro, which are allied with Lula's communists. A new technical study by an international group of forensic analysis found more proof, of the two words you see there, indicating strong divergences between new setups that you put your pieces of paper in and old machine. I can't even say that. So anyway, that's the crux of it. So what's the drama that's been happening? Let me see. I'm trying to find the video. This individual here has been identified by voice, is going over some things. And I'll play this in a second, but what he is referring to in this video is a matter that was before the military Supreme Court. And this is a copy of it right here. Now I'll expand it enough where we get it two screenshots. You see there it says Superior Tribunal Militar. So if we get a screenshot of this, and that's as clear as I could get it. It was on posted on Telegram channel, and these underlined areas are the complaints that are being exercised against the Supreme Court. So you can get a shot of that too. If you know anybody who can read the language when this was published. So what they're discussing I will have to play this video and explain it. This is the Supreme Court had ordered, the military Supreme Court had ordered the source codes for the things that were used to count, okay? They're electronic and they count things. The Supreme Court wanted the source codes. But anyway, this was the last day of the year. This is an individual that Dr. Wilson Kurosawa, who was analyzing things and been in contact, filing papers with the military Supreme Court. Anyway, this is fuzzy. It's kind of hard to read, but you can hear what he's going over, where he's showing there's a difference in the source codes that is very odd.
Tá aí, galera. Olha aí o processo. Consulta o processo contra ali, ó. Alexandre de Moraes, Geraldo Alckmin, Luiz Inácio Lula Silva. Processo andou. Dado dia 12, distribuído. Dia 19, ato ordinário de intimação eletrônica, expedito certificado referente ao evento 7, Ministério Público Militar. Olha o prazo. Um dia fechado. Data de contagem começa agora 2/2 e termina dia 2/2. Dia 21/2, intimação eletrônica confirmada. 21/12, 19/13, ciência. Referente ao evento 10. Evento 10, tá aqui, ó. A intimação. Tá aí. Cadeia.
Now, I know it's hard to hear. I turned it up as much as I could. These are bootleg TikTok videos that are getting out of there. And you got to remember that these people, it is dawning on them that there's a good possibility they're on their own. And there are very strict decrees being passed that are taking their right to bear arms away from them. And they have a ministry of truth that they say will comport with the law. In other words, they will issue out punishments. So these people are realizing this, and they're not, I guess they have to be very careful of how they put out their information. But if you get a screenshot of that and expand it, or any of the frames during this video, you can see what he's talking about as far as there being different codes in older pieces of electronics, I'll say, versus the newer pieces of electronics, and that the ones with a different source code have different results that are not statistically possible. So the last that I heard about this, they just call him Wilson, Dr. Wilson Kurosawa. The last I heard before we got this notice of everybody should be going on a general strike is this very difficult to read document here, where they said it looked to them as if Dr. Kurosawa or Wilson, as they refer to him, is giving up. And they said he has a lot of friends or a lot of support. I'll put it that way. A lot of support on the Supreme Military Tribunal is what they're referring to it as. But at this time, they don't know if those members of the tribunal are even around anymore. In other words, have they been picked up? Have they been arrested? Now, so I showed you that video of Bolsonaro in Orlando saying the best is yet to come. But also, at the very beginning of my video, I showed you, and if you're tuning in late, I'm going to play it again. This is supposedly the heads of the military paying tribute to this character Lulu. And the music is what they were playing as part of the ceremony. And you see on either side of him are generals and admirals and everybody with the military.
Serão prestadas honras militares ao senhor Ministro de Estado da Defesa, José Múcio Monteiro Filho.
So that was a very disappointing ceremony for millions and millions of people in Brazil. And it coincided with this business of what I showed you with the supposition that Wilson has given up. And so now there are calls for a general strike as people feel that is their only solution if the military is not going to step up. So this is what the news is putting out as the inauguration. And this was put out on Telegram, and they used our favorite term, FAKE, okay, and then news. So this is actually a photograph sleuths have discovered that is from Bolsonaro's inauguration. They're putting up false photographs, and somebody had either a drone or was aloft in a helicopter and took this actual video of what was really going on. I'll put this side by side so you all can see what they're showing in the media from Bolsonaro's. Whoops, let me get this picture up. What they're saying, there we go, versus the reality, okay? It's a very brief clip. And as I've harped about before, this is all, I'm sure, government workers, members of the Communist Party. Anyway, but words dribbling out that what we're seeing is not real. We're not getting any reports on our news media as to what is actually happening. But when they do put stuff out, this is what you see. You see pictures like the one I showed earlier on, there we go, that one, versus the reality is this one, where you have just two rows of people who are walking up there, and then they have a barricade where it drops down to one line of people. So they can't even make it look like a large crowd with the usual camera tricks. So anyway, the document I showed earlier with the red underlining is the basis of the judge's decision over Index 10 shown on the video. That where Wilson was going over, it says Wilson accuses Moraes of having ignored the Secretary of Defense requests. The Secretary, they said Ministry of Defense at times, or Secretary is interchangeable. The Secretary, using their authority through GVA, guarantee of VOTING, and counting of the events, indicate possible irregularities. Okay. And that's why they asked to do a complete analysis of it to compare with the ones being used during the count. Okay. Wilson concludes that Moraz committed a military felony. Okay. That's military law. And so we don't know if this Secretary of Defense is still in, or Ministry of Defense is still has freedom of movement, or if he has submitted or been arrested. I don't know. So anyway, Maria Bartiromo put out a prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi, and she typed it out on Truth, and then the other word is social. And she left kind of the last few words of it off. So if you want to get a screenshot of that, you can expand it, and I'll expand it in a moment so you all can get separate screenshots of the top and the bottom of it. But it might be something you all want to go over with in some solitude as to what's happening in our country, what's happening around the world. The prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, and this is the top half of it, and this is the bottom. And I talked about the passing of Pope Benedict, who had been the first pope to resign in over 600 years. He passed away just before these events of the inauguration. And I discussed in the past how he was considered to be old school, no messing around. And I said before, he considered life to be precious in all stages and conditions, period. And I said he was known around Europe as the Hammer. Well, I found out that in South America, he was referred to as God's Rottweiler. That's how they put it in his obituary in South America. So anyway, just a tribute to him once again, to say that he was a man of God. And I've got to go out of my studio real quick because I want to put up a map that you all may want to, some of you may want to put a screenshot in your phone so you can, if you hear any news about this area, you can compare it to what's going on. This is a map of Brazil. And, oh my goodness, where'd it go? It'll pop back up. It should. Well, let me put it back up. There we go. This is a map of Brazil. It's the largest in South America, largest country. You see Venezuela. We know what happened there. Guyana, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru. We were discussing what happened in Peru. Bolivia, Paraguay, Chile, Uruguay, Argentina. Now, a lot of people say that there's another military base there on the tip of Argentina, a military prison. I'm not going to get into that, but that's the rumors. And there you have Guatemala and Nicaragua. And if you have some knowledge of geography, you know that it goes on up into Mexico, up the to the southern end of Texas and California. So we are neighbors. I'll put this to a size where you get a screen grab so you can, if you hear any news reports that you want to check out for yourself. We all know with Nicaragua, that was used to attempt to sully Ronald Reagan with that phony Iran-Contra scandal. Nicaragua has fallen to the communists. And now we have the situation with Brazil. The only thing that is what I would consider to be a shining light for people other than their continued desire to resist by going on a national strike. The only thing they can really do, they can think about what Bolsonaro said, the best is yet to come, while he was in Orlando, Florida. And Maria Bartiromo, who put up the St. Francis of Assisi prayer, she also put this up. Pelosi's name is off the speaker's office. It's a new day in Washington. So there you see the office of the Speaker of the House, and there is no longer Nancy Pelosi's name on there. So we'll get our rays of sunshine where we can, right? And just like the people of Brazil. Now, we are not far from a situation that the people of Brazil are in, except that nobody can put out a decree like this character did, okay? This guy right here, this felon that was let out of jail and now is in control of the largest country in South America. Okay, nobody banned our GANs and in a country's capital and suspended registrations and licenses. Otherwise, we would be in a situation wondering whether the Ministry of Truth would come banging on our door. Okay. Now, I was going to get a screenshot video of this event, but maybe I'll put it on tomorrow if I do one tomorrow. Katie Hobbs sworn in as Arizona governor. I look for footage of this. I've got one that's kind of clear, but, it just pukes you out. She did break out in giggles and nervous laughter when she was asked whether she solemnly swore to uphold the Constitution. And she said, well, I did that because my mother was crying and because she was so proud of me. And I just broke out in giggles. So if you want to make yourself sick, you can see there where to go to. It's a very crummy video. It's done in the wrong. It's done not in landscape mode. And the volume is terrible. And then here you have a preliminary thing there. And I want you to look at these idiots. Okay, those three idiots in the screen. There's some idiots in the background there. But what do you notice about them? Okay. And it just so happened that I got something from my friend, Truth and Art TV. He posted on Truth Social. Next step, insert these things into the culture. Okay. There they are. Young children who many of them are going to be vulnerable to people who are something wrong with them. I'll put it that way. New Yorker publishes insane case for wearing masks forever. A group calling themselves the People's CDC are calling on federal and local governments to put the mandates back in place, claiming a lot of anti-mask sentiment is deeply embedded in white supremacy. Okay? So, it's abuse as far as I'm concerned, especially with the little ones. And but I wanted to put that up. At the same time, I wanted to show you this picture of that person on the left who took the oath and laughed. Okay? And the excuse was, I laughed because my mother was crying. Boy, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I always laughed when my mother cried. But anyway, but you see the tie-in there. You see the tie-in of them keeping up with this mantra, keeping up with the FAKE news. This is not accidental, just like I'm showing you right here. This is not an accident. Okay? The pictures I showed you of the three idiots and what they want to do to our culture that's coming up, the young people. So anyway, I didn't mean to go off on that rant. Let me see. I haven't been paying attention to the chats because I have been busy trying to keep up with what is in my studio. It's hard to read and see what these things are and keep them in some kind of sequence that makes sense. So let me see what's going on in the chats. Hi, Roy. Yeah, she laughed because she got away with it. Debbie, Georgia's here. How you doing? And I see B-Dog, Bubba, Karen, everybody. Doc is here. So I'm glad everybody's here. And I got a little cranky about the broadcast. Might have been a little shaky. I'm doing the best I can, folks. And as I've said before, I'm an old man with a phone. I'm doing the best I can. And you all stick with me and I'll stick with you, right? So anyway, when I'm doing these broadcasts, I always wonder if something is going to come up on Twitter, Telegram, Truth Social, somewhere, somebody trying to reach through and give us some tidbits of things that may help us with getting an idea of where not just our nation stands, but where the world stands, okay? So anyway, I put some memes I didn't put up from other broadcasts. Mitch McConnell, he's losing his credibility every day. Hopefully the body language person will dissect it. That one where he's in Orlando and says the best is yet to come. I mean, there are certain things that I see that is in the lexicon of the people of Brazil. I've seen FAKE news several times. That's going around the world. That DJT coined, okay? And the best is yet to come is one of those things. And hard to ignore, okay? So, thank you, Karen. She said, I'm doing great. Ha, good. I hope you gave me a thumbs up. I know you gave me a thumbs up, Karen. Hi, Sin. How you doing? She said, I'm doing he said, I'm doing excellent. You love my show. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much, Sin. And I appreciate your support. I appreciate everybody that supported me. And it is a big help. I'm going to have to get me another little data package because these ones that where you put up pictures and videos, it sucks it out like a wet vac out of your phone. And they say, oh, you got unlimited talk, text, data. Yeah, everybody knows that scam. You get to a certain point in your data and it gets slower than grandma, but grandma was old. Grandma had the right to be slow. She was old. But not my internet. But then you can throw more money at them. And guess what? It speeds up a little bit. But anyway, somebody put this up on Truth, and then the other word is social. I wanted to put that up after I put the 3 idiots that are complicit. I don't care what these people say or what they do. These people that are part of this incoming administration in Arizona, as far as I'm concerned, they're all complicit. And it is my silent hope up until now that these people being given the opportunity to come in office and accept a job will be used to show you knew damn good and well you were pulling a fraud on the people, just like Miss HOBBS, okay? Round them all up is what up until now, was my silent hope. And that's the same with what's going on in our southern neighbor, okay? Is that who is Who is going in there and raising their right hand, swearing, taking their, making their commitment to uphold the law and the Constitution while they knowingly breaking it? Maybe that's what this is all about. So what if they get Lulu? They already got him once. They put him in jail. He was supposed to be serving, I think, a 10-year sentence. But if you got a corrupt bureaucratic machine, corrupt attorneys, corrupt Supreme Court, big deal. Give him 10 years. We'll just let him out. And not only that, we'll make him president. So you got to get all the support structure out from underneath. And I'm going to show this picture again of the three idiots. You look at everybody who's, where is that at? Everybody that is putting that political costume on is supporting a narrative that they want to foist onto schools where children cannot develop properly. They cannot read people's emotions along with their facial expressions and their tone of voice. Normal psychological development. And so we mentioned body language ghosts earlier, right? Well, I'll tell you, we all have a little body language ghost in us. It's part of learning and growing, where you can spot a liar, where you can tell when somebody's not telling you the truth. What happens when you grow up where you cannot see facial expressions? You can't compare their face with what they're saying, the tone of voice compared to little signals. You're not going to learn how to spot a liar. And so you got all these characters that are playing along with this kabuki theater. And as far as I'm concerned, they're complicit. And nobody walks away from this. Nobody. We've all heard that before. So I put that business up of Trump's tax returns. About filing your taxes, and this thing of Trump's tax returns blew up in their faces. All right. He gets write-offs. He gets deductions for providing jobs, or if you hire a certain amount of disabled people, you get a tax credit, or you get write-offs for doing this and doing that. If you move into a community and build a big factory, that county will waive your taxes for a certain period of years. All kinds of deals and benefits come from being a person who stimulates the economy and causes there to be growth in the economy. And Trump takes advantage of all that stuff. And they're like, hey, you got to take all this risk. You got to invest all this money. You got to do all the things that we promised you we would give you tax advantages for. And then we're going to beat you over the head because you took advantage of the tax advantages. I don't think so. The average American is not stupid enough to fall for that. And anybody that does fall for that is either ignorant or is too far gone into TDS to understand reality. And they can go home, take their third or fourth booster, and go back to sleep and let us run the country. Okay? So it's time to, when you're dealing with friends and relatives, I know it's tough, but at some point you have to, as I was trying to allude to last night, you don't have to be foul-mouthed or nasty or angry. You just have to be an adult and say, look, putting that thing on my face is stupid, and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm sorry you're doing it. I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry you think that way. I'm sorry you're that afraid of life. And I would be using that term, FAKE, news, as much as possible. And this meme I have up here now, your speech is policed more than our southern border. Well, we can take a few little laughs at it because we have got somebody that is exposing all that via Twitter. We have our Second Amendment. We can do what General Flynn said and not comply. But the people of Brazil, it's dawning on them. I could tell by the rate of messaging has decreased. The tone has a fear to it. And if you can imagine living in a society where somebody signs a decree and the next thing you know your door gets kicked open and you get drug off. That can happen in this country. And that is what's happening in Brazil. Just because you put up the things I say, I was a Brazilian citizen, and they played the tape of what I just said. And take HOBBS's name out, take her name out, and put Lulu's name in there. And if I said the same things about Hobbes or about Lulu that I said about Hobbes, they would arrest me and throw me in prison. And that's in our hemisphere in violation of the Monroe Doctrine. And unfortunately, maybe John Kerry was right. The Monroe Doctrine is dead. But it's all coming from somewhere, right? The 4 o'clock in the morning, things they find in the trunk of people's cars, or the reports everybody gets told to repeat. They all come out like 3, 4 in the morning. They come from somewhere. And I know on the other side of this earth, when it's nighttime here, it's daytime there. Okay. And if I dig a hole deep enough, where am I going to end up? On the other side of the earth. What country am I going to end up in? Well, you see it right there on your screen, right? So that's where I think it's coming from. My own personal thoughts on the matter. Now, I will issue a slight correction. One of my previous broadcasts, I discussed this judge who's going to be in the spotlight. Sam Bankman-Fried case moved to Clinton-appointed Judge Lewis Kaplan. There he is. And I put up a picture of his full greasy head here. I said that I didn't want to infer that he presided over what happened with Epstein being an illegal plea agreement that Trump nullified and ended up basically firing, but he accepted his resignation of his labor secretary who was involved. I don't know what level this judge was involved in that particular case, but I do know that he was involved in Prince Andrew's case and cases against Trump. So I'm just clarifying that issue. But what this thing amounts to, if we think, it's just a South American dictator signing a decree to have a ministry of truth, that's only happens in banana republics and South American countries. Well, our cousins, okay? You heard about this case. Thought crime. Silently praying, okay? And that's the name of the play Lincoln was watching. Our American cousins. That's what we refer to the United Kingdom as. So this business of a ministry of truth, which they tried to pass here. They tried to pass in this country, and they actually had a functioning ministry of truth in this country. That's what it results in, okay, what you see on the screen. But however, in Brazil, it can get a lot rougher, okay? People can be disappeared. Let me see what's going on in the chats. Nikki, I saw you in here and I didn't say hi earlier, but I was busy jabbering. I was going to say hi earlier. I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. Hi, Tobin. And I got cranky over my signal, and, usually when that happens, I lose a subscriber or two, but if you're out there, give me a break. Stick with me. Like I said, you stick with me, I'll stick with you. And I was going to put this up last week or a couple of days ago, and I want to go into him more depth. Adam Schiff is rudderless, okay? This is when Elon Musk said, did you approve censorship in direct violation of the Constitution, Adam Schiff? And hidden state censorship in direct violation of the Constitution. He's also in the spotlight because he claimed that Trump had some kind of mental defect. And I want to go over some posts from the certain letter that we all go over where he was asked the question, was the $7 million worth it, Adam? And I was going to go over that. And what's his name with the Pentagon, Lloyd Austin, he had $12 million. And then we have what's coming up soon, besides this money laundering business. We've got this NIH creating a certain thing. Okay, Russian military is going to be letting that out. They are letting it out. And it's going to be supposedly the focus of some more Twitter information being let out. We've heard that before and didn't get it, but it got everybody tuned in and everybody's antennas up and everybody was focused on things they don't want us to be focused on. Okay? So anyway, here's a close-up of this spider's web of people involved with the NIH and the BIOLABS, if you all want to get a screenshot of that. And all these people are going to be looked at, as DJT said, very strongly. Okay? Very strongly. So anyway, folks, just this is another one to show your friends or put on Facebook when they put up a piece of news. And instead of fact checking it, just go, yeah, I saw that on the news too, and send them this picture. Ha ha ha, the news. Oh, B-Dog, we stay away from that letter. Because they zero right in. It's like if you watch the movie, was it The Matrix, where those things are flying around and they get a sniff of something and they all fly through the Matrix they got tentacles, That's what it's like dealing with these characters here. So anyway, I appreciate you all tuning in. And I am going to play a little short video that you all might like. Get a clip of it and send it to some friends. And I'll cut my mic off so you can hear it. And I appreciate you all being with me. And I thank my new subscribers and the people that have been with me from the very beginning and everybody in between. I thank you very much. And sometimes it's hard to get up for this. It's hard to be positive and put things together and come out and rally whoever we can rally. But we got to keep doing it. And you are all showing me support and spending your time with me as we walk through history. I said that to somebody in a private message. Thank you for walking through history with me. And I appreciate that very much from all of you. So you all have a great night. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Get your pencils out, lick them, and get ready to write this down. It is not going to happen. We are not going to go off into that good night. without standing up for our rights. It's time for the law-abiding American patriot in this nation to stand up and say, hell no, we will not go, and you will not take them, and we will continue to stand strong for what we know is right. We will protect ourselves. We will protect our children.